Welcome. So I know you're looking at some interesting things now. You're looking at a little fountain going and my Himalayan lamp, right? Interesting. Um, and I know some said that they're having a hard time hearing me, and I am going to be getting a mic and doing this with a mic, and as well as probably start using my laptop. I'm still just using my phone. Um, I didn't even think I would get any subs, really, and I do have a few subs now. And so this was just something I was gonna, probably do on my phone, maybe upgrade to do on my laptop. Um, but I am having, quite a few people saying they're having a hard time hearing me. So I think I'm going to go ahead and here soon, start maybe using my laptop, and as well as maybe start learning how to maybe do a chat with some of the people that are watching. You know, um, Again, I didn't really expect to get subs or, maybe just a few subs, but I think it might be easier for me to be able to, have a chat, to talk to other people, because this is, like I said again, it's really hard when you're just trying to sit and talk to yourself. I stumble continuously, I backtrack, and um, it's hard. It's just really hard. So it probably would be easier if I could chat with, some people. And, once again, I'm new and I don't know what I'm doing. So, um, I have my dogs out there in the living room again, just going nuts. Every time the wind blows, uh, they're going crazy. We have, the squirrels are still out, believe it or not. Actually, we have a lot of birds flying everywhere, and they are really getting them going. So, I'm just using. I was actually trying to meditate a little bit and relax. So this was just my little tiny small fountain. The bigger fountain that I have just makes way too much noise. And, just one of my Himalayan rocks, or I'm sorry, lamps that I have, because I have them all over the house. So, anyways, I just thought that I would do a little vocal point here, because I still don't know how to use the little bubble that people use. I'm gonna have to do a lot of research, to try to do this, because I don't know what I'm doing. So I'm just doing the best I can, and I do apologize. But I am gonna go ahead and get a mic to make it a little easier for those that are saying they're not able to hear me. Um, Again, I didn't think that I would, have any subs, or just a few subs maybe. So I will do that, I promise. For those that do want to hear me, I'll try to make it easier and, a little more professional, I guess. I'll try to get better at this, I promise. I was working on the interview with Dudley on the Summer Wells case, and I did make the video, but I left out quite a bit that I wanted to talk about, so I deleted the video. I do that a lot. So I deleted it, and I'm going to work on it again tonight, and then try to get that released. But I did want to listen, replay it and listen to it before I put it out there. And I noticed that there was a lot, because I did take notes, and there was a lot that I left out. So I'm going to have to redo that one. So I will work on that tonight, I think. But this one hopefully isn't going to be that long of a video. But, you know, again, I'm looking at, and I've said it over and over, I'm looking at, the behavior out there on social media. And a lot of these players, I just don't know who they are. But it's just crazy that, YouTube is such a big platform for everybody. And we have all these people that are just, they are arguing, and, you know, they're just going back and forth, and they act like YouTube is such a small platform and there's just not enough room, you know, for everybody to, make an income or have their channel. you know um, I don't get it. And this I know that you got to have drama on there for the drama channels, to have, to keep going. But some of this stuff is just getting too dangerous. And I made that video with Mommy Ramblings. A lot of people were laughing and making fun of her getting upset over you know the delivery that she had, the peen glitter bomb. But I said, it can start out small and then it gets to be dangerous, right? It can be very dangerous because there's crazy people out there. And, we're going to discuss some of the craziness that's going on. Um, I feel that some of the creators, there's a double standard out there. Um, they will make videos about somebody that they don't like. If something happens and people go real life on them, and they are scared, something happens to their family, they make a video about it, they show their proof or whatever, and these creators don't like them, so they will sit and make fun of them. Their community makes fun of them. But if it happens to someone they like, and then, oh my gosh, I cannot believe that this happened, and it's a double standard. And the mentality of it is just insane. And I'm going to explain what I mean. Because nobody should be going real life on anybody. And, you know, a lot of you all are acting like children, and I've said this before. And some of this stuff is getting out of hand. It really is. And YouTube needs to step up. They really do. They need to step their game up and put an end to this BS. And say once and for all, if some of you creators don't stop your shit, your channel's going to go down. Your income's going to be gone. Plain and simple. It's the only way to put a stop to this stuff that's going on. And if your income is going to be affected, for those that are using their platform as an income, it's the only way you're going to stop. It's the only way. And this is not funny anymore, guys. It wasn't funny way back when I started, thinking about all this, and it's not funny now. But like I said, some of you creators out there, if it's happening to somebody that you don't like, either you're saying it's fake or you think it's hilarious, but if it's happening to somebody you do like, and then, oh my gosh, I cannot believe this is happening, and how cruel can you guys be? It's a double standard. Hypocrites, guys, to the fullest extent. And again, I said this before, we have innocent children that live in these homes. Okay? And you all, as the creators, and as, I mainly say creators, but even, the viewers, you guys all created this drama, not the children. Okay? You all created this drama. You have been sucked into it. You created it. You are continuing the drama. And the children are the ones that are suffering because of their parents that want to keep it up. And mostly for what? Content, a buck, to get back at each other, to one up on each other. And the children are the ones suffering. For what? For what? Is it worth it? So we're going to get into what I'm talking about. So we have Natasha talking about what happened with Lana. Now, I'm not familiar what happened with Lana. I haven't watched Lana's videos for a long time. Okay. Here and there with the Watts case. I know something happened that Natasha was a part of, okay, that she didn't vet. Something that people were accusing Lana of, and instead of going to the proper authorities, they went to another creator, and that creator ran with it. Again, no matter what you think of Lana, okay, and what her views are, what her thoughts are, how she conducts herself, these were serious allegations. I wasn't watching creators when this panel came up, or Natasha was part of it. I don't know, because I wasn't watching creators then. So I'm just getting little, tidbits about it now. But it seems like Lana and Natasha are friends again. Natasha can say what she wants, but, I see it in chat. I see Lana up on panel. They're friends. Period. They're friends. Okay? So we know Lana, she's talked about, lawsuits or whatever, going after people. I don't know what all that's about. I don't know if she's going after people because of the accusations that were made against her. I'm not sure about all that, all right? But in my opinion, if these were made against her, she has every reason to. But, I'm going to say this too. All these lawsuits for YouTube, I mean, people, come on. Enough is enough. I mean, do your channel, okay? Now, if it gets to be where people are really threatening your family, sending you things, that's a different story, okay? But I am seeing lawsuit, civil suit, lawsuit. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy. YouTube used to be fun. It's not fun anymore. This is not fun. But anyways, so I was catching up, as I was trying to work on the Dudley interview video, and I had to delete it because I left things out, and it's like, okay, I'm gonna start over on that. I was getting bits and pieces of a video Natasha made, and again, I didn't see what happened to Lana, but she was playing a few things that happened. Okay. I guess Lana was served with she had a process server come, and I don't know if Lana has that video up or if it's down, and it was a whole big mess. And then Lana came up on panel, people were talking in chat, so, I skipped through, but, I did get the gist of it. So here's my thoughts on what is going on here and what happened with that, because, the chat and Natasha are just really upset that this happened to Lana, okay? And I'm going to say that I would be upset too, all right? If I was Lana, I would be very upset. She had her child at the home, and I already told you guys that there's crazy people out there, crazy out on social media. Now, these creators, you got creators putting all of your stuff out there, your children, okay? You have your children on camera. You have your children's names on out there. You know, you have crazy people out on social media. You do. And you know, you have your children. You got to think about this. And I am not putting anybody down. I'm not. Okay? Because you're proud of your children. You know, you have them with you there. You know, when you're doing some of your lives. But I'm just saying, you have crazy people that don't like you for whatever reason, you know, and what they're going to go after your kids. And I know that is crazy, but they do. They hit you where it hurts the most. They go, if they can't get through to you, if you don't have a criminal background, or even if you do and you've already put it out there for the world to know, and they know that your criminal background or anything that you've done in your background isn't going to get to you, then they're going to go where it hurts the most, and that's your family, after your job. I mean, some of these people just don't care. So why some creators put out their personal business as much as they do, you know, their children, their work, you know, where they go, um, what they do, you know, this is why a lot of the drama and a lot of attacking is going on. And that's just like with Natasha. You know, people are attacking about the casino stuff. If you don't want it to be attacked, why are you putting out so much information? I mean, I can understand saying, hey, you know, I did this or I did that. But if you're sitting there saying, you know, I'm putting out all these fundraisers on a weekly basis, well, this one ends and then I'm putting out another one. But then you're telling everybody, you know, but I'm going to the casino and I'm gambling every week and I get all these motels free and, you know, I do this and that. And you know, you know that your quote hate channels are going to run with that, right? They're going to run with it because you're putting out all your funds, okay, fundraisers. And I have a problem when you do fundraiser. The word fundraiser to me means something totally different than PayPal. But you know, I'm not even going to get on that kick because a fundraiser is raising funds for a cause, okay, a good cause. Not these stupid names being put out just to get other channels going, to keep the drama going, for clicks, views. You know where I'm going with this, okay? And then you get on panel or you go on a live and then you want to cry and whine about how you can't take all of the mess that's going on in YouTube land and how bad it is for your health. It's like a vicious circle, right? You keep putting out this information for these channels to go with for more content. That's my opinion, okay? But let's get back to the video, why I'm doing this video. I said I wasn't going to go there and I did. But anyways, so we have Lana. I think I was calling her Lana. Sorry, Lana. I know how to say her name. She was on a live and she has somebody that is ringing her doorbell, and she has her young child there, and it so happens to be a process server, but this person, you can clearly hear them say, now like I said, this was Natasha replaying it. I don't know if Lana took it down or not. I haven't checked. But you can clearly hear him say that, you know, he broke down in front of her house, and her child is, she tells her child not to answer the door. Right move, okay? You don't want your child answering the door to anybody, right? Um, and so then you hear this person banging very loudly. And you hear Lana, yelling at him that I'll call the police for you, and then just get away. You hear her yelling at this person, and then you hear her child getting upset. Now, in my opinion, um, this child is getting upset because Lana is getting upset. Now, yes, the knocking on the door was very loud, but Lana is raising her voice, yelling, you know, uh, get the F away. I understand what Lana is doing, don't get me wrong. But with her getting upset, in my opinion, that's what got the child upset because all you can hear is this person ringing the doorbell, okay, and then knocking on the door loudly. You don't hear him screaming or anything like that. I mean, that. I did hear him say very faintly that the car broke down in front of the home, and her saying nope, nope, or whatever. But you hear her child sobbing a little bit, and in my opinion, scared. But because, in my opinion, Lana was being very loud, okay, and scaring her child. That's my opinion. But again, I can understand why Lana is being loud. She's being loud to get this person away from her home. And excuse me if I'm trying to talk louder, guys, because again, a lot of you said that you couldn't hear me. So if I'm trying to talk louder, so you can hear me because I'm still doing this on my phone. So, anyways, she's still on her live, right? And it sounds like she says she took her child upstairs, all right? And, but she's still on her live, and she explains how that is. But then she goes on to say that, she opens the window and she starts yelling at this person, and her audio goes out, and you can't hear what this guy is saying, but he had another person with him in the vehicle, and the lights were out, and she goes on to talk about it, and that supposedly he said that he was watching her live, and knew who was in the house and all this other stuff. I don't know. She stated in there that, because this is what I don't understand. Now, we know she got the paperwork and all that stuff. Now, me as a parent, the first thing I'm going to think about is someone knocking on my door like that, okay? Get my child away. I'm calling 911. She said that other people were calling 911. I'm sorry. I'm not going to just think that somebody in my chat, some strangers on social media, is going to call 911. I mean, how does she even know that anybody in her chat knew the address where she lived at, whatever? I'm sorry, I'm calling 911 and I'm making a police report, right? Um, I'm not, I don't care. And I don't think that happened. I don't think the police came out. I don't know. Lana did not say anything about um, the police coming out there to her home. But I'm not going to stay on a live. I think she was staying on a live, just in case. And I've seen some SWATs happen, okay, on YouTube where people stayed on live so that people could see it going down. But, I mean, this wasn't a SWAT, I'm just saying. Um, but I would be calling 911. I would be grabbing my child, getting them to safety, and 911. She said she texted her friend that was there and told him to get there. I'm calling 911. I'm getting the cop there because this guy did say that he was a process server right afterwards. But again, you know, um, this is a mom and a child in the home by themselves, and I agree with Lana. You don't know. Anybody can say whatever they want to try to get in your home, right? So we don't know this. So my first thought is I'm going to call 911, get the police out there, and if they are a process server or whatever, they can show their credentials, their badge, whatever, at that time in front of the police officer, right? But from what I'm gathering, no police was ever called. No police was ever called. But Lana does say that she goes upstairs and she's opening up the window and she's calling this man a, I'm not even going to say what she's calling him. So you have your child in the home, okay, and you got two men in a car and you're opening up the window calling them all sorts of interesting things. Not a smart move, okay? Not a smart move. Because you have no clue who these crazy people are outside of your home. And, if they have weapons, if they are gonna lose it and come back in your home and try to force themselves into your home, and what their motives are, if they're just somebody that is I couldn't even imagine. But again, my first thought would be to get my child to safety and call 911 as I was doing that. But again, papers were left there, so I think she already knew, deep down something, that they were actually process servers, that what they were saying was true, but they just went about it in a really screwed up way. So then we're going to talk about, the process servers themselves, because, they still have to follow guidelines, right? But there are things that they can get away with. They can't lie. They can lie to an extent. And they can, at last resort, they can put a disguise on. But they cannot say they're law enforcement. They cannot. They can put a disguise on as last resort, because it is very common, okay, very common that people will dodge a process server. Very common. If you look it up, it's very common that people will, so they don't get served for whatever reason, for a divorce, alimony, lawsuits, whatever. They don't want to get served. So they will dodge a process server, and a lot of times they know that they're going to get served, okay? And so they'll do anything in their power not to get served by a process server. So they are allowed to fib a little bit, all right? So this guy is saying that his car broke down in front of her property. What he was trying to do is get Lana to open the door, okay, so that he can say, here's the paperwork. You're served. Here's your paperwork. That's what he was trying to do, to get her to open up the door. So that he's legally allowed to do. He is not allowed to say that he's a law enforcement, okay? He is supposed to say that he's a process server. He does have to do that. By law, he does have to do that, and he did. If Lana would have opened up that door, now when he knocked on the door, he did not have to say it at that time until she opened up the door. Now, he's not allowed to knock on the door and say, I'm a pizza server, okay, to get her to open up the door. I mean, it's not like it is in the movies. When you see in the movies where they lie about who they are to get someone to open up the door, they're not allowed to do that, okay? But they are allowed to, they're allowed to do some strange, they're allowed to do some strange things, okay? To be able to, they're allowed to utilize non-traditional styles to make sure a person receives notice of a pending cause against them, okay? So if it's saying, my car's broke down, in front of your place, because some people might open a door for someone to use the phone. I wouldn't, okay? Lana was very smart not to, okay? But if she would have opened the door, he could have handed her the papers and said, you're served. Or they don't even have to say you're served anymore either. They just hand you the papers and it's done. Um, but they also are allowed to attempt to do this several times, and they're allowed to do it at different times a day. Okay. I'm sure it's not ethical, and I don't know this. I'm sure they're not allowed to do, like at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, but they're allowed to do it, and they will do it at different times in the day. And I think she said this happened like at 8 o'clock at night. That is not, there's nothing wrong with that because some people work and they don't get home until later. So there is absolutely nothing wrong with this person coming at that time. Um, Will they come with a second party? Some do come with a second party for their own safety. Because I'm sure that process servers, I'm sure that sometimes their safety might, be in question. Something could happen to them too. It's kind of like a repo man, okay? These people do not want to be served. A lot of people do not want to be served with papers, just like people do not want their vehicles to be repoed, right? So, um, I'm sure that having a second party with them is, that's fine too. There's nothing stating that they can't have a second person there with them. Uh, they do, it does say that some do have a badge, okay? And I'm sure that they all have an ID. So if you ask them for their ID, because there are scammers out there, so once they have paperwork, at that time you can ask them for an ID if they say they're a process server, and they should show ID at that time. But they're already going to have the paperwork, right? So then you can look at it and see what all the paperwork is. But they're not allowed to break in your home. They're not allowed to say you open the door and they say I'm a process server and you start shutting the door. They're not allowed to put their foot in the door to keep that door open. Okay? You can shut the door in their face and there's nothing they can do about it. They're not allowed to put their foot in the door. They're not allowed to trespass, but you have to have, and this is really strange because you have to have a no trespassing sign. Okay? So that's kind of weird. Um, so there's so many things going on there with a process server, but apparently this was a process server because she does say that she got the paperwork and who it was from. Okay, now I'm not sure because apparently she said he just left it on, I don't know, on the ground or whatever. It got wet. My understanding was a process server had to actually hand you the paperwork or it had to be on your person. Even, if they threw the paperwork at you and it landed on you, here you're served. It had to have touched you. I could be wrong. A process server cannot put the paperwork in the mail either. They're not allowed to do that. But I don't know. Maybe it was different because he knew she was home, because he's seen her and he was videotaping her. Because she said something like, I'm videoing you. And he's like, I know I'm videoing you too. I don't know. I have no idea. But I mean, that's enough about that. It seems like it was a legit process server. I can't remember. It looks like Lana's going to file. I think she might have said, don't quote me, that she's going to file a lawsuit against him too, a civil. But to me, it doesn't sound like he really did anything wrong. I mean, he did scare a child, okay? But, banging on the door loudly like that, but I don't think that's against the law. Um, Saying that his car was broke down in front of her place, I think they're allowed to say that. Um, because right after he said that, then he said that he was a process server. So all he basically was trying to do was get her to open the door, and then, if he wouldn't have said he was a process server when she opened the door, then she could have something on him if he would have said I was a pizza delivery or I'm law enforcement or something like that. So I don't know. It didn't go that way. Again, the child was upset, but to me it seemed like this child was more upset because of Lana yelling and the way Lana was acting. But it still was not okay. But again, the person that filed this is not responsible for how a process server handles, how what their conduct is. So I don't know. I really didn't talk about just a process server. That's just I'm just trying to get the understanding of how a process server works. And everybody in the chat was so upset about, and this is the double standard I want to talk about. They were upset about, Lana's child, which is, understandable, and what Lana had to go through with this process server. And they had this other creator, which I don't know who she is. They've talked about her before. I guess they were laughing or giggling about it. And they said that, this process server or whatever, he said from the jump that he was a process server. No, I did hear him say that the car broke down in front of the house. So he did say that. But then he said he was a process server right afterwards. But they were really upset that this other creator, which again, I've heard her name, but I've never, watched any of her videos. I guess she's a small creator, and her and Natasha, all of them have a beef. Don't know what it is. But they were kind of laughing and joking about it from the little clip that Natasha had. And they're like, well, how sick is this? I'm making fun of scaring this poor child and scaring Lana. And they all thought it was just disgusting that this other creator made such light of this situation. And I agree, it is disgusting. But yet this same panel and this creator, okay, did the same thing with Mommy Rambling's SWAT. Okay? An actual SWAT. Do they not forget that she has 2 children? She has 2 children. Now, we know that Mommy Ramblings was very upset. Okay? And Natasha has played that video on her channel. And there's pictures of the police there. Okay? There's pictures of the police. And they're even trying to say it was fake. All right? The police are there, guys. The picture is there. All right? So, they're sitting there laughing about it, about Mommy Ramblings being hysterical and making fun of it. And they've done this several times. All right? And they don't think about the children in her home that this affected. All right? With all these police in her home, and how this made, no matter how, how this made Mommy Ramblings feel or her husband feel, or these 2 children that she had in her home. And they literally think it's hilarious. They're like, look at the face on the cops, in this picture, and they want to say that, this and that or whatever. And how can anybody be so cruel when this process server scared Lana's little boy, and scared Lana, and they're laughing and making a joke about it in this other creator, the small creator, and the people, I don't know if the chat was making fun of it or whatever, but Natasha is saying, I cannot believe anybody that would make a child feel like that. they're disgusting people, but yet she did the exact same thing to Mommy Ramblings as well as all her people in her chat. And they've done it multiple times on the SWAT that Mommy Ramblings had. Okay? When someone went real life and did this. Now with Lana's situation, we have somebody that actual is a process server, because she was naming, or she got the paperwork, right? And she read off everything that it said. So this person that filed this paperwork, I'm sorry, it looks like they did hire this person, okay, this process server, to serve Lana. So this was a legit person, but they scared Lana's child, okay? And again, in my opinion, the loud knock on the door and ringing the doorbell, in my opinion, that's not what scared the child. What scared the child was Lana's reaction. Do I think Lana's reaction was what any mom would do? No, I would probably be freaking out too. You know, I would have. I'm not going to lie. If I was at home by myself with my child and I have somebody knocking on my door like that and ringing the doorbells like that, saying that their car broke down in front of my house, I'm going to be freaking out too. But I would be calling 911. All right. I would probably, if I was live, I would leave the live go in case, hey guys, if anybody happened. But on my phone, I wouldn't be texting someone. I would be 911 and staying on the phone with 911 until the police got there. But this was a legit thing. What happened with Mommy Ramblings is she got swatted. Okay? So people can say it was fake or whatever. The police were there. The police were there. I think some people even dug in to find out if it actually happened, and I could be mistaken about this, but I think that they actually have they're like, oh, it wasn't real. So they even dug in to see if it actually happened, and they found out, yeah, that it actually did happen. The police report or whatever it was, because they were trying to disprove that a SWAT actually happened, and they were trying to disprove that picture, that those were actual police officers. But what I'm trying to say here is the same people that were so against this other creator laughing about Lana's boy being upset and Lana being upset, okay, which she shouldn't have done, okay? When you see a little boy crying because they're scared and upset because their mommy's upset and their mommy's scared, you shouldn't be laughing about that, okay? That shows your maturity level. And I don't care who you are. But then again, you have the same people in another creator's thing that is, another creator's chat or whatever that is doing the same thing about a SWAT. They're laughing and making fun that this happened to this family with children in the home as well, okay? Because they don't like that creator. Now, we got to remember something here. If this would have happened a couple of months ago with Lana, all right, what would Natasha's people be saying? Would they be laughing about it like they do Mommy Ramblings? Because the people in the chat didn't like Lana. and neither did Natasha, because she was still making fun of her. All right? Would they be laughing and making it a content, making it their content, putting that video up there and thinking it was funny? Or saying it was fake, that she faked it, that she had her friend do that? Think about it. Because nobody in that chat a few months back liked Lana. Go back and look at the videos and look at the chat when people were talking about Lana. And see what was said. Now everybody loves Lana. All you got to do is go back and look. All right? So again, would they have been using that video to make fun of her and saying it wasn't real? Or just to make fun of her, saying she overreacted? Because all it was a process server. Why is she overreacting? Because that's what they say Mommy Ramblings did, that she overreacted. Would you overreact if you had a bunch of police officers come in saying that your husband, somebody reported that your husband murdered you and your children? Really? No, I wasn't, like I said, I didn't listen to, I don't know what happened back then because I didn't listen to the video, so I don't know when that SWAT was with Mommy Ramblings and exactly what happened. I I just, I've seen it on Natasha's thing, and I seen a little bit on Mommy Ramblings. Um, about I seen the picture, of the police officers, and I seen Mommy Ramblings. It was replay, because I didn't see it back then. About somebody calling in saying that her husband murdered her and her children. But people want to say that's fake. Are all those officers fake that are there at the house? So you're saying that never happened? Now, this isn't the only creator in the 3.5 years that I have been watching that has got swatted. This is how crazy some of these people are out there on social media. So when you've been swatted, okay, when you have CPS, I know there's some creators that had CPS called on them. You got creators that have had stuff sent to them, and I'm not just talking about Mommy Ramblings. There's been other creators that's had stuff sent to them, okay? And stuff sent right to their direct address, not a P.O. box, but right to their address. That's scary. Or to their parents' address. Or to their children's address if they have, adult children. That's why I said before that glitter bomb, that peen glitter bomb that everybody wants to laugh about with Mommy Ramblings, that's really not funny. Not when people go further than that. When it escalates. So the main point that I had with this video is the double standards that we have. All right? If we like a creator, if we like somebody, then we are going to get all upset if something happens. All right? Even if it is a legit person that is doing something, but it upsets that creator, and this person, like this process server, did it in a non-ethical way. I don't think they did anything illegal. Well, we shall see. But kind of unethical. They scared a child. They scared a mother. But if we don't like a creator, okay, whatever is done to them, it's fine. We can use their videos, and we can put them up. We can put the fear up, and we can make fun of it, and our viewers can make fun of it. We can use it again for content and laugh about it because we don't like that creator. So, we don't care if their children were affected by what happened. We don't care because we don't like that creator. So their children don't matter. Their children don't matter. But if we like a creator and something happens, then you people are sick that are laughing about it. You people are sick. See the double standards that I'm talking about? And I've said this before. I understand drama sells, but you know what? Is it worth it? Is it really worth it for these children to have to go through what they're going through because of their parents' decisions? They're not asking for this. These children are not asking for this. And we as viewers, and yeah, I'm talking about myself as well because I watch this stuff. We as viewers and subs, right? It's drama, and some of it's entertaining to us. Isn't that sad? It's entertaining to us, but is it entertaining to these children that have to go through this? Again, because of their parents' decisions. Because, their parents are putting out so much information that they decide to do these channels, which I completely understand. And especially for an income, they are trying to provide for their children. But you put out so much private information about your family, about your children, and about your whereabouts and what you do. And then you have crazy people that don't like you for whatever reason. And then you have stuff like this happening. And I don't get it, Your children should always come first. Your family should always come first before anything. Anything. And if it's affecting, if this is affecting your family, your children, your mental health, you got to ask yourself again, is it worth it? Is it worth it? So on that note, I am going to end it. I didn't even want to go this long. It was basically, the double standards. I see that everywhere. Double standards. Hypocrites. Is that fair? Is it fair to the children? But I'm gonna finish that video with Dudley, and hopefully move on to the other videos or the other interviews with the other ones on the Summer Wells case, and we'll just see where it goes from there and what other videos I do. And like I said, here eventually I will get that mic and maybe get a different setup and hopefully, start chatting so that I'm not just recording and stumbling over my thoughts because that's what I do. Sometimes I get really passionate about what I say and I kind of repeat myself, but um, this was a video that I wasn't even thinking about doing. I just, like said, I seen the double standard and it just kind of got to me because when it comes to something like this, when children are involved or when swatting or people go real life or something like that, in my opinion, I don't care if you don't like a creator, okay? I don't care if you think they're the worst person in the world. It's not okay for anybody to have someone go real life on them, to be swatted, to have CPS, DHS, whatever they want to call them in your state. I don't think it's okay at all because it's the children that are being affected. And that's who we should think about, right? So we'll catch you on the next video, and I hope everyone has a good one.